country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. I feel it. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. God has. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Friday, October 24th. Do you know what time it is? It's Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM. Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. For the next 3 hours, it's Exhale Friday. Exhale Friday is when we, for the last show of the week, let you call in or write in on the message board. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart, don't bring it into the weekend. Let it out, let it out. And we've discussed a lot this week. You might not have been able to get through on the phone lines, or you might not have gotten your read, my reading what you had to say on the air from our message board. So you can get it all out today. Call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or go on the message board at livestream at nationalactionnetwork.net, livestream at nationalactionnetwork.net, and we will read as many of them as we can possibly do. Let me tell you what's on my mind. Inflation has climbed to its highest level since January. Beef prices, y'all that eat meat, beef prices are soaring. Consumer prices climbed 3% in September, year over year, slightly higher than August, which had gone up 2.9%. But below economists' expectations. Now, beef prices surged nearly 15%, while coffee jumped 19%. So, I'm going to satisfy the economy, I'm going to sell everything, I'm going to save inflation from day one. Mr. Trump, that's what he said. Well, the numbers are in as we go into his 8th month. Here's something as disturbing or more immediate. Nearly 42 million Americans could lose access to food assistance starting November 1st. That's next week, y'all. As the government shutdown halts federal SNAP funding, the USDA warned states that it won't be enough money to pay full benefits in November if the shutdown continues. You're talking about people that are depending on SNAP to put food on the table, up to 42 million. And if this shutdown continues, they will not be able to pay the SNAP benefits. Pennsylvania has already halted payments, while Texas, Wisconsin, Oregon, and Massachusetts warn of imminent suspensions. Officials are urging recipients to use remaining funds to stock up, but food banks say they cannot meet the massive demand, with Massachusetts alone facing a deficit of 56 million meals. And with all of this, stalemate. House is not even in Washington, the House of Representatives. Johnson, under orders of President Trump, is not budging. So you got inflation. You have 42 million people affected by the SNAP programs not being funded. We saw today Attorney General of New York State, Letitia James, appeared in court in Virginia, pled not guilty, and making a motion to throw the case out against her. I think that all of you know that I feel that's a political witch hunt. And people were there from various groups. I know National Action Network had people there. And lastly, of my opening concerns is how there is a real effort by Republicans to block, but they're barreling toward the Affordable Care Act subsidy cliff with no united plan. Now, with key Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire, Republicans are entering the November 1st open enrollment period without a unified strategy to prevent premium spikes for 20 million Americans. Donald Trump, the president, has shown interest in a larger health care overall, offered no clear plan. The White House and the GOP leaders are betting the Democrats will take the blame for the lapse, portraying Obamacare as costly and failing, but White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt accused Democrats of holding the government hostage, while Trump allies argue he shouldn't save Obama's legacy legislation. What about saving people's health? What about saving people's insurance? And that's the picture at the end of the week. A lot happened during the week. But here we are with inflation, SNAP programs on the chopping block, I should say. And we are facing the whole situation of the Affordable Care Act premiums going up November 1st. And we are at October 24th. We are just a few days away. Next week we'll face this. So this is a five-alarm fire socially. And people need not to relax on this. This is real stuff. Rosalind Washington is writing from Indianapolis, Indiana. Indianapolis, Indiana daycare providers are suffering. They will only get food vouchers for kids for the month of November. How will daycare providers feed people's kids? This is in Indianapolis. Write me on the message board. William James is writing, during his whole existence, he has been extremely successful in identifying problems. What's the solution and how can they contribute to the solution? Well, the solution is that we need to, one, have the Republicans identify that they will sign off and deal with extending Obamacare at the rates it is. Let them debate it when they come back in January, but extend it now so that we stop the shutdown. The Democrats have said if they can get an extension on Obamacare, which is the law and the way it is now, they will agree to the government budget that has been proposed. That's the solution. Real simple. Isaiah Tillman Jr. says, thank God Reverend Al Sharpton can be heard in Michigan again. Well, I'm glad to be back in Michigan to be heard myself. Thank you and bless you for that. Good afternoon, Rev, from Dorothy Farabee and the Keeping It Real family from Hyattville, Maryland. And I'm glad to be with you. And then Cedric Cooper on the message page says, I'm in Central Florida. So people all over the country tune in. It's Exhale Friday. I really am really anxious to hear what you got to say and how we all, let me tell you something. We need clearly, I think clearly, that we need to deal with all of these issues and all of this nonsense. It is crazy that we look and see inflation like it is and see the Affordable Care Act on the verge of like it is and dealing with this whole question. And I haven't even mentioned that this week they went out into the Supreme Court and had the oral arguments on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, and they could very well end the Voting Rights Act by really taking that out. It's just so crazy. And yet it's not crazy, it's reality. And we're going to have to deal with reality. And let me tell you, I spoke last night. I got the Medgar Centennial Award from Medgar College last night. Really honored me in Brooklyn. Really was an honor to me. And I told them that the struggle continues. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And if people that had far less, they didn't have radio shows. They didn't have social media. They didn't have Instagram and TikTok and Yahoo and none of that. They didn't have all of that. They didn't have cable television. Yet they turned the country upside down. Medgar was one of them who's, in his name I got the award. So what is our excuse? We have all this to work with. And people coming back. And yeah, you're going to get haters. People get on my message board hating. And you know, one of the things I learned about hating, they're more comical than anything else. Because they go back, I can't tell you how many people just laugh at stupidity. And I don't even answer it. People, Laurie Ann Collins, she's going back 40 years to find a case you disagree with me. You must be pretty old. I know a whole lot of cases since then, and I believed I was right then. Bless your heart. Hope you have a good weekend. Let me take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Who is that?
Hey, Rev.
But anyway, who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor, who stayed right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Black. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight in the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did DEI, started at Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, the ACP would put forward together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. Every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, to call in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton. Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. We're setting up our calls, and on our message board at live streaming Nash Action Network. Nadine Miller saying, hello, Reverend Al, and listeners. Reverend Al, where are those Trump supporters who were calling your show prior to the November 2024 election? Where are the folks who said President Obama, quote, didn't do anything, end of quote, and now they are on the verge of their Obama care premiums skyrocketing? And if the Republicans can't get it together. Interesting. Then let me go to some more I was reading. Brother Thomas, I think it was Roderick McCoy, said it's sad that Devil Trump is more concerned about building a $300 million ballroom than if a person has food and affordable health care or housing. Be careful how you treat God's people, Roderick McCoy said. And James Thomas says, half of the uncommitted movement doesn't even know that the vice president cannot overrule the president. Maybe if they picked up a civics book, they would know better and do better instead of acting like idiots. Oh, y'all are coming hard today on the message board. Let me get my announcements out the way. Don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And tomorrow, Saturday, among my guests, and I got some blockbuster shows, so you don't want to miss either one. I'm going to have, as I said yesterday, I'm going to have on the speaker. I'm sorry, the minority leader of the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, is going to be on. Stephen Horsford, congressman from Nevada, will be on. And I want to get the whole question of the shutdown by the minute, up to the minute, where we are. And you couldn't get it better than to have Hakeem himself on, who's in the negotiations. He'll be on. Then Congressman Horsford, who will be on dealing with the other parts of Obamacare jumps and all. You need to watch this. I will also have on Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, who is the Democratic Congresswoman out of Newark, New Jersey, that they've indicted, put on trial for her going to the ICE to try to visit the detention center where ICE has put the people that they have called deportees. And then I'm going to have on the president of the American Federation of Government Employees Union, talk about how his members are dealing. That's just on tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I'm going to have Congresswoman McKellen of Virginia. I'm going to have on Ben Crump and the mother of A.J. Owens, talking about this film that is out, that is doing really well on Netflix, called The Perfect Neighbor. It talks about A.J. Owens' killing by a white woman in Ocala, Georgia, and Ocala, Florida, and we are going to deal with that all on Sunday. So watch the show both nights, and I'll be glad. Tell them I'm on the radio. I'll call in 10 minutes. Hello? Yes, I'm sorry. I was taking a call.
Hi, Reverend Sharpton's on the radio. He will call you back.
And let me just say this. I don't know if that was breaking news, but I had them take the phone call. But I wanted to be clear that these shows are extremely important to get you up to the minute information, because people don't understand a lot can change over the weekend. Trump is an expert at trying to stop things and drop it over the weekend when he thinks the country's not paying attention. That's one of the reasons I'm glad I'm on the weekend. So watch both days at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. Then you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in the morning, Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in Harlem at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem, 106 West 145th Street near Lenox Avenue, village of Harlem. You that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, the only nationally black-owned gospel television network. Or you can watch it on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. So I wanted to give you both of those announcements, and we want to really, really see you at the rallies. We definitely want to see you wherever you are watching the shows tomorrow and Sunday, because you're not going to get any other show that's going to have those kind of heavy hitters on. And I'm going to be raising the questions that you need answered. All right, it is Exhale Friday. I'm going to try to get these lines straight so we start taking your calls. And I can read on the message board. But you can start lining up the calls. The lines are fixed, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. I'm taking your calls right after the break. Let's go to the break and come back and exhale. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Thank you.
Let's see the advertising.
Well, they said that we couldn't do it, but all the world can see that when we come together, when we rise above our differences, we can come and show an effort that no one can stop. Let us first salute Minister Louis Farrakhan for making a call that reached all of us and has shaken the world. Let me say this. When we hear the word today, when we leave here this evening, we are not leaving having had just a rally. We're going home to do some work. You think you see a crowd now, wait till we go home and get our sisters. You think you've seen something now, wait till we go home and get our mothers. The political story of '94 was the angry white man voted in a new Congress. Well, get ready, America, for the story of '96, when the enlightened black man brings in a new Congress. It's time for Mr. Gingrich and the angry white man who are angry at the wrong people. We are doubly unemployed. Why are you angry at us? Our icons are being demoralized. Why are you angry at us? So let the angry white man meet the enlightened black man that will join hands with other enlightened people and bring us another way. In '63, we had to march across the Red Sea, Reverend Wilson. Well, in '95, we are headed to the Jordan. We don't have to backtrack. We can go forward. And why are you so surprised we're here? Did you think that we would continue to watch our images put down? Look at what they did to people from Michael Jackson all the way across the board. That just because they were people of color were desecrated and demoralized. Well, now if we've learned, if we hold each other's hands, we can take care of our own Michael Jacksons. We can take care of our own young men. You see the brothers here, but what about the hundreds of thousands behind bars that couldn't come here? We got to stand up and free them too. OJ is home, but Mumi Abu Jamal ain't home. And we won't stop till all of our people that need a chance in an awkward and unbalanced criminal justice system can come home. I end by saying this. 1988, there was a preacher that ran for president named Pat Robertson. He got 2 million votes. There were those young people and ministers and others that took those 2 million votes and in 94 took America. Well, in 88, Jesse Jackson got 7 million votes. And his younger brothers and younger cousins can transform that with the energy given and mobilization given by Minister Farrakhan and others in leadership. And we can change 96. We can straighten out tricks in 96. We can straighten out tricks in 96 if we come alive in 95. So we join the minister. We join black men and black women and our leaders all over America saying, stand up, black man. I know it's hard to stand when you've been shackled, but stand up, black man. I know it's hard to stand when you've been beaten and bruised, but stand up, black man. Let your children, let your daughters, let them all over the world see us stand up together. We all live on one block. We may have different houses, but it's all the same block. Elijah Muhammad's house is on that block. Martin Luther King's house is on that block. Malana Karanga's house is on that block. But let me tell you something, when you set the block on fire, I don't have time to look at other houses' videos. It's time for all of us to come out together and save the block of black folk in America. Some of us will stand up and fight. Some of us won't switch. Some of us won't buckle or bow. As James Brown said, some of us rather die on our feet than live on our knees. Thank you and God bless you.
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago, in 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stood at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City, fighting to preserve voting rights.
Reverend Al Sharpton is Exhale Friday 1877 532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al, or go on our message board at live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Let me close the week by starting with my beloved friend out of Chicago, my beloved friend, Miss Eunice out of Chicago. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real on XL Friday.
Good afternoon to you, my beloved friend. And I start out by saying, let us all pray for Reverend Jackson.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And then I went to hear Representative Crockett last night. She was here in Chicago at St. Sabina of Father Flaga's church, and she was dynamic as usual.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
and you know,
great.
Rev, I don't know what is it going to take for the Republicans to see what's happening because of Trump. Now, he leaves a path of destruction wherever he goes. He will say one thing and do another. And the country's on a downward spiral fast. And he has terminated talks with Canada over at, what's that all about? It came across the wire earlier today. Do you know what that's all about?
Apparently, in Canada, they wrote an ad, not the government, this was some other interest, that showed Ronald Reagan as president saying what tariffs do that hurts the people. It was an anti-tariff ad, and they put Reagan on, which they played the videotape of Reagan saying it. Trump got mad because of the tariff negotiations he's trying to do with Canada and pulled back. Well, Ronald Reagan said it. People have the right to politicize, well, not even politicize, because they didn't politicize it, is what Reagan said. They have the right to campaign and be against what he's doing in terms of tariffs. He's like a child that I'm taking all my bat and ball and go home. If you can't take the heat, you shouldn't be president of the United States. And then they tried to say, well, they distorted what Reagan said. They played the video exactly how it was videoed.
And Reverend, you know, a man with his temperament shouldn't be anywhere near authority. What he goes after others for, he has done worse. And I'm not excusing any wrongdoing, but he's beyond the pale. And he's been given a pass by the highest court, and it's a shame. And I was just hearing Bannon say that Trump is going to get a third term. Well, he brings in all the crooks to help him, and so I'm wondering what are they cooking up now, like they did for the past 4 years when he was out of office. And I say to the Democrat, hold on, don't start all over again, because you're going to get farther and farther away. And let me move on, because I like to hear others talk.
Yeah, but let me say this
weekend.
before you move in, and you have a great weekend too. And let me say this before you move on. You are exactly right. Everybody is saying, oh, Bannon's talking about a third term, poo-poo it. I agree that it's going to be heavy lift, but don't poo-poo it, because we should have been listening when Bannon was talking in 4 years that Biden was in, and they were planning. Whatever they planning, we need to be planning now for whatever possible plans they have to counter it. I do not take them lightly, and they should not take us lightly by being distracted. We need to press down.
Don't, Reverend, because we're in dire straits, so it's the time to wake up now. Those that have been sleeping, you can see, open your eyes, and thank you for taking my call.
All right, thank you for calling. Let me go to the mayor in Queensbridge Houses, Queens, New York, Mayor Rodney Jones. Mr. Mayor, you're keeping it real on XL Friday.
Hey, good afternoon, my shepherd. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Hey, I'm blessed to highly favored every time I speak to you, my shepherd. I'm talking about this XL Friday, this sports scandal. I'm old enough to remember the thing with Pete Rose in baseball, right?
Right.
And they banned him from baseball.
Right.
But this thing seemed like some type of distraction. Like all of a sudden, Cash Patel's going to get on TV and say, like, this is the greatest scandal, like the greatest gambling scandal And you can put these black men on Front Street. Like, where the mafia dudes? Where the La Cosa? Where the La Chasey, the Banana, the Colombo, the Gap? Where they at? You throw these black men on TV like they the worst things on earth. This distraction stuff, Rev. I'm like, yo, people got to wake up. Like, here, I don't gamble. I don't go to Land City. I stopped that years ago. I like my money. I stopped that years ago. But I'm just saying, it's like, wow, they making this thing like these dudes are devils. You know what I'm saying? They making it like these brothers. Like, I don't condone what they did it. I don't condone it because you're in the sport. You shouldn't be betting on, the games that you playing or whatever. But I'm just saying, though, they putting these guys on Front Street like, Rev, like they the worst thing. This is the worst thing since sliced bread, Rev. I mean, Rev, come on. Are they just, like, but they trying to move from this Epstein thing, they trying to keep that in the back. People got to keep on this Epstein thing.
Yeah.
But I think, Rev, like, this thing with this guy, I mean, Chauncey Billups, like, upstanding. People talking about him, how upstanding he was and, doing this. And he's the head coach. He just played that night. They arrested him. Talk about all this thing. They be watching these guys doing this thing. I know a lot of them sports guys gamble. Michael Jordan used to go to, what's the name? Remember Michael Jordan used to go gamble? You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, it's like, why y'all putting this out there like this and having these brothers out there? Where the mafia dudes at? Y'all ain't put them out there, perk walking them. So I'm like, yo, come on. I think this is a distraction to get away from all this other stuff, bro. What do you think?
I think that, thank you for your call. I think that they're doing any number of things to stay away from the Epstein case. And I think we just need to continue to focus and say, hold it. I'll give you an example. Happiness Donuts is writing, who was awarded the contract to bulldoze the people's house and why did they have to sign NDAs? Now, that's the stuff we need to be focusing on. And I think that
that's right.
What I think we need to do is rather than give up the airwaves to them is just keep coming back with it. What about the contracts? What about Epstein? What about
that's right.
Did you break the rules in terms of the demolition? We need to just keep going. That's why I'm on the air every day, radio, TV. Just keep going. Don't give them an inch. They want us to see the airwaves to them. And people run around talking about, I don't believe in media and all of that. That's how Trump got back in. He never, the 4 years, stopped. That's why we should not stop. Don't let people talk you out of dropping your megaphone. You can't be heard if the only thing they can hear is somebody that is on the other side. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Todd in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Todd, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton, XL Friday.
Hey, Reverend Al Sharpton, I want to tell you what motivated me calling you on Friday.
All right.
Today. When I got off the phone yesterday, there was a vote in the Senate to get the government employees paid by Chris Van Hollen, senator from Maryland. It's on his website. It's only 3 pages long. It might be 4. It's an easy read, and it's called. I didn't see the bill number, but it got blocked. Okay, so he argued it. And what it essentially tells people, and go on his website for those that care, Chris Van Hollen, senator from Maryland, is that we're going to pay we want the government employees paid during this shutdown, and the ones that have been unjustly furloughed during this shutdown. That's reasonable. The tax dollars are in place for these people to be paid. They should be paid. Another bill was blocked, and I should have had it in front of me, but I don't. A Republican Party member also introduced a bill, and I read it, but I don't have the name in front of me. And that person wanted the essential employees that are required to come to work to be paid, and anybody else to be paid now or in the future only be under the advisement of the president. Now, that means whether they've worked their hours or not, maybe you get paid or not. And that was blocked. Now, Chris Van Hollen's bill is totally reasonable. It's totally reasonable, and he didn't use a lot of words to explain it, because it doesn't require a lot of words to explain it. Taxes are what we pay for a civilized society. That is etched in stone on the IRS building in Washington, D.C. It is there. It's from Oliver Wendell Holmes' statement from a 1927 Supreme Court case. His thoughts of that came from an 1848 Judicial Committee matter in the state of Ohio, where it explains that taxes are what the citizens give up to the government for protection. Protection of what? Services. Protection of services. So if the money's been put in place, you, me, and everybody else has paid enough taxes for these federal employees to be paid, those employees should be paid because those services have been paid for by us in advance through our tax dollars. I will say again, exit what I said yesterday. This is the fault of the Republican Party. They put too much in this bill, Bill 119-1, which they're giving a name is not the name of the bill. The number is the name of the bill. It's not called Big Beautiful Bill. And in addition to that, they took the position that because we have the majority vote in the House of Representatives and in the U.S. Senate, that we are in control of the government. You are not in control of the government. You have the majority vote of your party, which is a private sector entity, but you are taxpayer-funded employees, which means you work for the citizens, and you are not in control of the government. And this is where this problem is, and this is what needs to be corrected. And I hope when I get off this phone, everybody that heard this or listens to the recording of this goes and looks at Senator Chris Van Hollen's bill that was completely blocked. They could have got people paid that have done their job already, Reverend Sharpton. They've worked. They're working now.
Wow.
They're taking care of families. You know, I know two people myself.
So wait a minute, wait, before we have to go to break. So Van Hollen's bill says pay them with the money's already there. And
yes.
And the Republican bill is saying pay them at the discretion of the president, but let's pay vital services. And they would not entertain either bill?
Both bills were blocked. And the Democrats' reason, if you read Van Hollen's bill, you could completely understand why his bill should have gone through. I know a 25-year-old first lieutenant right now, Reverend Sharpton. He's married. He's the primary caretaker for his family because his wife just delivered. He's not getting paid. I have a long-term friend that's about to retire, a master sergeant. He wanted to retire. She wanted to retire in 2 more years. She's taking care of family members as well. She's deep into her 50s now. She's not getting paid. This is unacceptable, man. Now, I said it yesterday, and you know I'm not going to ask you to speak out on this, but you know it's true. You know what happens when people do work, and they work honorably, and the money's available for them to be paid, and somebody says, well, you know, I'll get to you about it. You know what happens with that. You want these 14, 15, 16-year-old, 18-year-old kids to join the military, you better show them something up front that they're going to get paid on time all the time if they do the work.
All right, Todd. You came with some content on your, you usually just on Thursdays, but you came with it, the 2 specific bills all yesterday. Very important information to take into the weekend. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Hey, what's up? They're doing, thank you. They're doing What's on Your Mind? Yeah. All right, then, you got a birthday this week. I got to talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I got to tell Reverend Bird be ready Daniel 5th chapter. I want him to read. And I'm ready. Got a message from today, so We'll be on the air in what, half hour?
About a half hour.
So tune in to the WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time or I'll tell them how old you are. Oh,
Rev, you know, you were right there
from the beginning
with the stuff that
yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, but I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself, Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair, man.
Yeah, you had the head on.
Nah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. We went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized. No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We gonna shine and we shade. Give me a papa go rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
We have a young man in the studio who I think is an astounding young brother because of his youth. He's only 19 years old and he's accomplished a lot, and he's here to make a presentation to James Brown, and we'd like to welcome him warmly. His name is Al Sharpton. How about it for Al Sharpton? Al is the National Director of the National Youth Movement Incorporated. Right, Al?
That's right.
And what do we have here?
Well, we come to break tradition. We know that in the recording industry that they give a gold record to those that achieve a million seller. But we view your million seller payback as a black record because it is relevant and says many of the things that young blacks have tried to say and could not musically express in our own little way. And we feel the payback is sort of like the theme song of Young Black America in 1974. Yeah.
Now, before you go into the title tune of your latest album, you have a special guest.
Yeah, I do have a special guest, a young lady.
That's going to perform with you?
Yeah, she going to.
1, 2, 3, I got the feeling. Hey, baby, baby, I got the feeling. How I got that feeling, yeah. Hey, 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 got that feeling, y'all. Come on. Feeling, baby. Oh, I got the feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got the feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, baby, I got that. Ah! Baby, oh, feeling, baby. Oh, hey, hey, baby, 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 baby. Come on, sing it out, baby, baby. Come on, baby, baby, baby. Can't hear you. Hey, hey, I got that. Thank you so much. My name is True Osborne. Humbled and honored.
All right.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes black. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. This XL Friday. Don't forget, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. You don't want to miss either day this weekend. And with all that's going on, and I read you how inflation is going up and how the shutdown seems like it is nowhere in sight, and I have not even dealt with the unemployment numbers going up. We're going to deal with it all tomorrow on my show, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have on a minority leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, will be on to break down where we are with the shutdown, where we are with having to deal with the inflation, and why he is supporting who he's supporting for mayor of New York. He called me about 15 minutes ago and told me he's making an announcement. It's probably out. He's going to do his first interview with us on Politics Nation tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll have on Congressman Horsford from Nevada, talking about the impact. He's on that committee and what we can do. I'm going to have on Congresswoman LaMonica McIver of New Jersey, who's under indictment, standing trial for going to the deportation center in Newark to visit as a federal officer, as a congresswoman, those that are in the center arrested by ICE. They arrested her. Everett Kelly will be on as well, the president of the American Federation of Government Employees, and how his members are suffering and trying to deal with what is going on. You really need to watch tomorrow. And then Sunday at 5, stacked just as well. Congresswoman McKellen of Virginia is going to be on. I got a senator. I can't name him yet, but he's confirming, and I'll name him. He's going to be on. We'll have on Ben Crump and Pamela Dias, the grandmother of those children whose mother was killed. White woman shot her through the door for knocking on her door, asking why was she harassing her kids. And they have a movie out on Netflix right now called Perfect Neighbor. And I went down, did the eulogy, and I know that case. The mother is going to be on of the woman that was killed and telling AJ's story with Ben Crump. So you don't want to miss Politics Nation Saturday or Sunday. Then in the morning, make sure you beat me or meet me at the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. Make sure you are there if you're in the tri-state area. If you're not in the tri-state area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, the only national black-owned gospel TV network. You can watch it, or you can watch it on nationalactionnetwork.net live stream, 9 to 11. Let's go to Jim in Atlanta, Georgia. Jim?
Good afternoon, Real. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. Just meddling. But I just want to say this fool has lost his mind. He done tore down the damn wing, and he done paved over Jacqueline Kennedy's Rose Garden. I'm like, damn, he think this is going to be his permanent home, but we got another thing coming for him, you know?
Well, I think you said graphically, you're right. The Rose Garden and now the east wing of the White House gone. I mean, he is redoing it like this is another Trump property. And what is so crazy to me, Jim, is that you would think the Republicans, who's supposed to be the lovers of, God bless America, would be outraged at him doing this to a monument of government, the People's House. They're going along with it. I guess he'll be taking down Lincoln from the Lincoln Memorial, taking down the chair, Lincoln out the chair, and putting himself in it next.
That's what he probably will try to do, but he ain't gonna get it. They talking about him on Mount Rushmore, and then him on money. Only dead. That's why they call it dead president. And the thing about it is, Cash Patel with his bug-eyed self. You know what he look like? He look like he saw the Epstein file. His name's on there.
You hit below the belt on that one, Doc. There's some funny with there now.
Yeah. Now one more thing, and I believe Chief Justice Roberts, he's on there, because you know what? He's Donald Trump's puppet. He's Donald Trump's puppet, and whatever he say to the conservatives, they follow along. I mean, man, I just don't understand Clarence Thomas. I can't stand that dude.
Yeah, well,
affirmative action.
It would appear to me that it's mutual. You can't stand him, and the way he behaved, he can't stand us either, Al. Thank you for your call, Jim. We gonna take.
All right.
Let's go to Still. Let me go to Still Bill in Cincinnati. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
You are in rare form.
Thank
And I
you.
just want to send a shout out to Lincoln Ware and Terrence Howard, WBBZ The Buzz radio station, 12:30 a.m. for listening to this excellent show. And I also want to give props to your beautiful daughter, Dominique, who is just sounding so great nowadays. I missed her last week, but there's a matter of time before we cross paths. But I just want to say that Donald Trump has got his hands full with, China, recently, Canada, and God knows everywhere else. But, I'm going to go along with your best friend, Eunice from Chicago, saying, do not fall for the okie doke. I am not going to fall for the okie doke. I am a proud Democrat, and I am ready to fight. And, Reverend, you have a good day. Keep up the good work. And, Dominique, I am still Bill, and I will keep it real. Keep it real. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Let me go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Disco Brian.
Yes, Rev. Yes, Rev. Hello. Rev, normally I come prepared, but I'm out doing a little shopping today. So thank you for taking my call. Let me step out. I wanted to bring something up that's extremely troubling, Rev, and I know it's Exhale Friday, but have you heard of Graham Plattner, Rev?
Graham Plattner?
Yes. He is running as a Democrat in Maine. He's a white man, and he's been endorsed by Bernie Sanders, okay? And it's just come to the attention of a lot of people online that I follow, a lot of black sky, as they call the black community that I follow on Blue Sky, that this gentleman, Graham Plattner in Maine, has a Nazi tattoo on his chest.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
that.
Yeah.
Yes, Rev. Bernie was asked if that's a deal breaker, and Bernie said no, it's not a deal breaker for him. Also, Rev, yesterday, please vet this. Anyone listening who has a problem with this, make sure I'm not lying. Yesterday, a podcaster by the name of Tim Dillon uploaded his interview with Senator Sanders. Senator Sanders, when asked about Kamala Harris, said that she ran a terrible campaign because she didn't address the working class. What I have come to understand is that every time Bernie says working class, he means white people, angry white people. Because we all know, anyone who worked to get Kamala Harris elected knows that she had a very robust plan to empower the working class, small business owners, first-time home buyers. We all know this. Bernie Sanders is spreading a lie because Bernie Sanders has made it clear that he's not going to allow anyone other than someone with his stamp of approval to be the leader of the Democratic Party. And Rev, my thing is this. If we allow this to happen, we might as well surrender to MAGA and Nick Fuentes and Kanye West. And I'm saying, Mom Donnie, where do you stand on your leader, Bernie Sanders, who you named as your favorite politician on the debate stage, when he refuses to distance himself from this white man with a Nazi tattoo running as a Democrat? Bless you, Rev. Have a beautiful weekend. I look forward to watching you tomorrow.
Thank you, and I'm appreciative of it. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton, be right back.
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago, in 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stood at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City, fighting to preserve voting rights for all Americans and all Democrats regardless of race or gender. Hamer's stand inspired Dr. King's March in Selma, which brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. 20 years ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson stood at the Democratic National Convention in San Francisco, again appealing to preserve those freedoms. Tonight, we stand with those freedoms at risk and our security as citizens in question. I have come here tonight to say the only choice we have to preserve our freedom at this point in history is to elect John Kerry, the President of the United States. I stood with both John Kerry and John Edwards over 30 occasions in debates during the primary season. I narrated them, I watched them, I observed their deeds, I looked into their eyes. I am convinced that they are men who say what they mean and mean what they say. I am also convinced that at a time when a vicious spirit in the body politic of this country that attempts to undermine America's freedoms, our civil rights, our civil liberties, we must leave this city and go forth and organize this nation for victory for our party and John Kerry and John Edwards in November. But let me quickly say, this is not just about winning an election. It's about preserving the principles on which this very nation was founded. Look at the current view of our nation worldwide as a result of our unilateral foreign policy. We went from unprecedented international support and solidarity on September 12, 2001, to hostility and hatred as we stand here tonight. We can't survive in the world by ourselves. How did we squander this opportunity to unite the world for democracy and to commit to the global fight against hunger and disease? We did it with a go-it-alone foreign policy based on flawed intelligence. We were told that we were going to Iraq because there were weapons of mass destruction. We lost hundreds of soldiers. We spent $200 billion at a time we had record state deficits. And when it became clear that there were no weapons, they changed the premise for the war and said, no, we went because of other reasons. If I told you tonight to let's leave the Fleet Center, we're in danger. And when you get outside, you ask me, Reverend Al, what is the danger? And I say, it don't matter, we just needed some fresh air. I have misled you, and we were misled. We are also faced with the prospect of, in the next 4 years, that 2 or more Supreme Court justices' seats will become available. This year, we celebrated the anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. This court has voted 5-4 on critical issues of women's rights and civil rights. It is frightening to think that the gains of civil and women's rights and those movements in the last century could be reversed if this administration is in the White House in these next 4 years. I suggest to you tonight that if George Bush had selected the court in '54, Clarence Thomas would have never got to law school. This is not about a party. This is about living up to the promise of America. The promise of America says we will guarantee quality education for all children and not spend more money on metal detectors than computers in our schools. The promise of America guarantees health care for all of its citizens and doesn't force seniors to travel to Canada to buy prescription drugs they can't afford here at home. The promise of America provides that those who work in our healthcare system can afford to be hospitalized in the very beds they clean up every day. The promise of America is that government does not seek to regulate your behavior in the bedroom, but to guarantee your right to provide food in the kitchen. The issue of government is not to determine who makes.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. XL Friday, 1-877-532-5797. And James Thomas is saying on the message page to Leslie Jennings, I sure do, and yet I think they are helping us, knowing that they're not helping us. And he's talking about the mayor's race. I'm joined here in the office by senior advisor to President of the National Action Network, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Reverend Marshall, we were talking in the last break, and you had looked it up online about this candidate in Maine that has Bernie Sanders' endorsement that had a Nazi on his
chest.
Yeah, on his chest. And one of the things that I have constantly said to all of you that have been with me and Nan is that I'm not looking for people to be progressive or moderate. I'm looking for people that's going to support our interests. And a lot of times, progressives, I ask them progressive for who? Because a lot of their situations don't address the race issue and don't address issues outside of their immediate hand.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I've heard you instill in us all of the values you just said. But yeah, this guy who goes by the name of Graham Plattner responded actually to people that have called him out on the tattoo and said he covered it up. He got it 20 years ago. But why did you get it 20 years ago? I mean, just to say that it's not there anymore is doesn't negate the fact that you got it in the first place. I think we have some in this climate of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, even things that black and brown folks go through in our community. There's no room in government, even with private citizens, but certainly in government. If you have a tattoo of such, it is likely, or one could assume, that you have some jaded views of discriminatory bias against any certain group, which is intolerable in the U.S. government.
Yeah, well, and the rules change. One of the things that is concerning to me is that we accept the rules change. So they could say, well, I did that 10, 20 years ago, but I'm progressive now, and it's all right. If a black said, you got people still asking me about the Tawana Brawley case, which was 40 years ago. Yep. And I believed what was told to me. I didn't make I didn't have no emblem on me. Or that we tried to lock some mobsters up. I was laughing this week that some clown come out saying Sharpton tried to get the FBI to get the mob. I tried to get the FBI to get the killers of George Floyd too. I mean, what? So let me get this right. You not supposed to tell law enforcement to get the mob. I was supposed to let them keep ripping off black artists, but they have different standards for us because we all supposed to be thugs. So we ain't supposed to be on the. We supposed to be on the thug side, or we ain't supposed to be a black girl 40 years ago. But any woman make a statement today. It's Me Too and Bleed Women First. It is the shocking double standard that we accept. I'm not shocked that they do it. I'm shocked that we accept it.
Yep. I think what makes it worse and exacerbates all of what you said is that some of us in our communities that know better actually amplify that same trash around all of what you described. I mean, ain't nobody else, whether it's from entertainment to those who've been marginalized in our neighborhoods, from number runners who obviously we know who own those illegal institutions, to drugs, to guns, the proliferation of violence, all of that. And if you standing up painting X's on crack houses in Brooklyn,
right,
you become a snitch,
right,
although you're not a user or a benefactor of the institution or the business.
And they selling drugs to our kids.
Yep.
So what they're really saying is that I should just let them make our kids all drug addicts and not say nothing.
Exactly. I mean, we look at some of Spike Lee movies. They were selling it to pregnant women.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was painting the crack house. The reason we painted the crack houses, reason we went to the feds openly, is because everybody knew in the local police department where the crack was being sold.
That's right.
And what I would do is, even then I had Saturday rallies and National Youth Movement. I would tell the press to come, have one of my youth go, take them to a corner grocery store or a bodega, put $5 on the counter, and the man would automatically give him $5 worth of crack.
Mm-hmm.
And the reporters see it, come back and say, yeah, I just saw it. And then we march and paint the red X because we've identified it. Now, if the kids in the neighborhood knew where to go and I put the red X there, I'm trying to embarrass the police know, the kids know, why don't y'all come in?
Absolutely.
But again, we supposed to just sit there and allow our children to be grown and killed with these kinds of social maladies like crack and other things. Let's go to Christian in Manhattan, New York. Christian.
Christine.
I'm sorry, Christine in Manhattan.
Hi. Yeah, good afternoon, Reverend Howard.
Good
Thanks for
afternoon.
taking my call. Yeah, it's Christine. And Reverend Al, I want to tell you about in 2011, I was in North Carolina, and I was working with the pastor had asked me to do children's talk, and which you know, I wasn't a church person, and I had just moved there, and my sister was listen, she was churchy, I wasn't. Anyway, so I worked with these children, and once I start talking to them, I would read the lesson to them every Sunday. And every Sunday, I would always put in some history. And at the time, President Obama was there. So I would always give them some news on President Obama. So as I talked to them, they had never been any place out of Warrenton, North Carolina. And I told them about how maybe we could go to the White House. And we did. Reverend Al, 46 children, well, adults and children. We had 2 busloads. We went to the White House. That was, let me read you this. The Honorable Barack Obama, President of the United States, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Dear President Obama, Snow Hill Baptist Church, Warrenton, North Carolina, is planning an educational trip to Washington, D.C. on Saturday, March 12, 2011. Tickets for the White House tour are secure through the North Carolina 1st District Representative, Honorable G.K. Butterfield. Reverend Al, and he helped me get that trip together. It was so, and when anything with the military, how you vet people. So on those 47 people, of course, I shredded everything afterward because they had to check them out, Social Security number and everything. It was a fabulous trip. And I woke up this morning just thinking about past things. And especially G.K. Bush.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Okay. And because now that district in North Carolina was taken over by Don Davis, and now they're getting ready to eliminate that. Anyway, I thank you so very much.
All right, well, thank you for your call. Let me pull up Lenny Demings, pass it to the lawyers, slander on video. We put a lawsuit against the guy, lying about what was on camera. People tried to, I think the way to answer this is just start bringing these people into court. Let's take a break, be right back. Keeping it real. Demings, yeah. Shout
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We gonna shine at the shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children. Knew love like this before, 'cause I never knew love like this before.
Sounds so good. That was beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I am humbled and grateful to be here with you tonight. I love you too. I love you too. It seems like I've known Reverend Al Sharpton all my life. My mom was such a fan of his, and I've seen him through my life in LA at MCA Records. When I was there, he'd come through, you know, and get those people straight about our contracts and talk about that. And I haven't been honored a lot. Maybe this is my second time, and I'm 68 years old. And I've been in this business my entire life. I've never done what you would call a real job. But I am truly honored, and I'm thankful, and I love us. I love my black people. And I fight for us, and I want the women, the black women, to really know their worth. Know that they're queens. That's important to me. That's how my mother raised me. My mother was militant, I guess, when it wasn't trendy, yes. Because when I was a little girl, my mother and father would drive in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, do or die. And when she would see police officers handling black children or a black boy or a girl, she would have my father stop and say, she'd get out of the car and she'd say, "What's going on here? Wait a minute, what you doing?" All the time. So it's natural that I'm that way because I'm so tired of seeing our black men beaten with handcuffs. They have handcuffs on. That's important to me. That's my fight. I want love in this world. We're living in some, I love you, I love you. I never knew love like this before. I can't sing because we just finished doing 3 shows back to back. And I flew in this morning, and because Reverend Al wanted me to sing home. There's no way I could sing home, but okay. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes us tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. Sprinkling the sea makes it all clean. But thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I love you. I love you with my life.
Stephanie Mills.
Church, I want to present to you a man of God, a man of his community, the Reverend Howard Hundley.
Together. Yes, I am. Trouble don't last always.
All over the world today, people are gathered in love vigils to celebrate the life of a man that taught the world how to love. People may be wondering why there's such an emotional outburst, but you would have to understand the journey of Michael to understand what he meant to all of us. For these that sit here as the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world.
877-532-5797. Exhale Friday. Mayor Rodney Jones, it says on our message board. I spoke to an old friend earlier this week, and he asked me about you, Rev, and he said that he respected what I'm doing and appreciated me. I appreciate that. And you know what I was saying, going off there, I didn't know it was on mic, is that somebody posted, I think they said the name was Jennings. Somebody put out all week, earlier this week, Reverend Marshall, that that I had tried to do a drug deal with the guy that ended up being an FBI agent, and which is a lie. They're going back 42 years ago or something. The tape clearly says this guy came saying he was a boxing promoter, and he wanted to get into boxing. Wanted me to introduce him to Don King. Some guys in the record business brought him to me. And then he switched and tried to offer me a drug deal. I sat there and looked at him and left. And they admitted I never agreed to nothing. They tried to use that to then say when I went after the mob that I flipped because they caught me in a drug deal, which they denied. So the reason I'm going after this guy that came on that's the name, Leslie Jennings, is I'm going to make an example out of them. Because no tape showed me trying to buy anything. The tape showed the guy proposition, and I wouldn't do it. So I think the way to do that is to do what the right wing do, is to make an example out of something. You can't state something as a fact on digital, and you can't say you didn't know no better, because nowhere on the tape am I saying anything. And I think that it's time. I've been waiting all week for somebody to call and ask me about it, because some guy put this out. And every 4 or 5 years, somebody try to come out with that. And then they come back with the Tawana Brawley case, because they can't come with nothing in the last 40 years. But I'm going to make an example, since somebody like to be saying I was on camera trying to do something. Well, you got to produce that tape. Or you're going to, we'll handle it. I'll handle it to the lawyers. All right, I just want to say that. Only because they went public, I went public. But let's move on. Let's go to Andre in Atlanta, Georgia. Andre, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Andre there?
Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. And to your guest. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, thank you, Reverend. If the mayor, Rodney Jones, is still listening, Mr. Mayor, if I can summarize what you were saying about the NBA gambling scandal, a few professional athletes involved in a gambling scandal does not have a detrimental impact on a huge segment of the American population. But taking away people's health care subsidies does. And the media should decide which of those two issues deserves to lead off their newscast. It's a news story, but does it merit being a lead-off news story based upon how the population at large is impacted? Rev, I have to repeat something that I stated on your show before, which is every single day of his life, Donald Trump shows us that he is the best example in the history of mankind of the old saying that money can't buy you class. But with Trump and J.D. Vance, it's now gone a step beyond that. In addition to them putting their racist interest and greed and the racist interest and greed of their friends over the best interest of their country, Trump and Vance have now taken it to another level. The new level to which they've now taken it is that, and Rev, I'm going to use a phrase here that I haven't heard in many years, but over and above putting their racist and financial interests above country, Trump and Vance are now teaching our entire country how to live what we used to call, when I was coming up, a ghetto fabulous lifestyle. Ghetto fabulous, when you're talking about a person, means that that person struggles to keep food on the table or pay their rent, but that person somehow finds a way to pay for overpriced Gucci handbags or Michael Jordan sneakers. Ghetto fabulous, when you're talking about a nation, means that that nation can't afford health care costs for millions of its citizens, but it somehow finds a way to adorn the Oval Office with so many tacky gold ornaments that it makes the Oval Office look cheap and fake. Ghetto fabulous, when you're talking about a nation, means that that nation can't afford to pay its federal workers or can't afford to continue its food assistance benefits for its marginalized citizens, but it somehow finds a way to add a 90,000 square foot ballroom to the White House. And speaking of this nation's ghetto fabulous MAGA ballroom, since when are the citizens of this country supposed to take lying Donald Trump at his word when he tells us who is going to pay for this ballroom and how much this ghetto fabulous Trump vanity project is going to cost? Is this going to be like the same during his first administration, when he tried to take funds that Congress had directed towards one project and divert those funds to a border wall that he told us Mexico was going to pay for? And since when are Americans supposed to take lying Donald Trump at his word when he and J.D. Vance tell us, without offering any evidence, that people that they are blowing up in boats are drug dealers? And the last comment I'd like to make is this. We've all been talking about this retribution tour that Trump and Vance have embarked upon against prosecutors, against his own former administration officials, against the media, against universities. I think retribution is only 50% of Trump's motive for going after the people he's going after. I think that the other 50% of his rationale is what I'm going to refer to as his "you ain't seen nothing yet" plans for what he intends to do before his term expires. Trump and Vance still have more than 3 years remaining on their 4-year term, and if we, the voters, don't make sure that Democrats take control of the House next year, in addition to making sure that Democrats take control of certain state legislatures and certain governorships, 3+ years is a whole lot of time for Trump and Vance to show this nation that we ain't seen nothing yet, in terms of them ignoring the Constitution, in terms of them violating people's rights, in terms of them trying to return this country back to its pre-1954 era, which is what MAGA has been about all along. I think that the other 50% of Trump and Vance's retribution tour is to send a message to prosecutors, to other elected officials, and to the media that when you see the "you ain't seen nothing yet" second half of this administration, if you try to hold us accountable, you're going to face the same MAGA shakedowns and the same MAGA-style thuggery that you're seeing play out right now. And although we've now gotten to a point in this country where a lot of people in MAGA world are now comfortable saying things out loud that were once said only in private, I think that one of the things that Trump and Vance and MAGA world are still reluctant to say in public is that despite Trump himself being a lame duck, MAGA doesn't plan on ever being out of power in Washington again, at least not during our lifetimes, which is why we're seeing red states rig their congressional districts, which is why we're going to see these same National Guard troops stationed at predominantly black voting polls next year as an intimidation factor, which is why Trump and Vance are preparing us for what I believe will be their "you ain't seen nothing yet" second half of their retribution tour. And as I've stated on your show before, Rev, MAGA slime equals MAGA crime. And what we as voters have to realize right now is that it will be easier for us to put a stop to this MAGA slime by giving Democrats control of the House next year rather than wait for the 2028 elections, which would give MAGA twice as long to impose more destruction upon our democracy than they would have if we put a check on them next year. So when the midterms roll around next year, let us not have short-term memories of what we're living through right now, as some of us had short memories during the 2024 elections. Sharpton, keeping it real. Thank you, Reverend.
All right, thank you, Andre. And let me go to the message board right after. I see Happiness Donut said, no, Andre, does not permit this coverage, Arizona politician, and cover the story. She's talking about they will not let, they should be leading with the story, how they will not swear in this elected congresswoman. Why? Because if she comes in, sworn in, she gives the decisive vote that will release the Epstein files. That's what they ought to be covering. I agree with you, Happiness Donut. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want? We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We're gonna shine up and shake. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin. You know, every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, the call-in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
The most.
Absolutely. Well, let me know. I'm on the next plane as soon as you holler. You know, when Ben Crump called, I don't even question it. I just head to the airport and get the details on the way.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. Hey, Rev. Rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You lie, sir.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797 or twitter.com, the Rev Al. And of course, you can go on the message board. S. Wood is on the message board saying breaking news, Rev. Speaker Jeffries, Minority Leader Jeffries really has endorsed Ma'am Danny. And he called me about an hour and a half ago. You that were listening, I said I'll call back in 10 minutes. That's I was talking to Hakeem Jeffries. I called back. He'd be on my show tomorrow night. He said his first interview is going to be on my show, but he was releasing today. He has endorsed Ma'am Danny for the mayor of New York. And he called me about an hour and a half ago during the show. Let me know. We talked last night, and he let me know. I'll leave it there. I'll talk more about it tomorrow at the Saturday Action Rally and on my show tomorrow night when Hakeem is one of the guests. We're joined as we are every Friday for the last hour of the show to close the week. He is the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan, and the head of national expansion, the Michigan State Chair of National Action Network, Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend?
All is well, Rev, and certainly it's always good to be with you on yet another Exhale Friday. This week, Rev, many may know across the country, a former chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Detroit Congresswoman, longtime Detroit Congresswoman, who held a son by the name of Kwame Kilpatrick, the madam herself,
Carolyn.
Miss
Carolyn
Kilpatrick.
Cheeks.
Yep. Yes, right. That's right. Miss Carolyn, Congresswoman Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick, passed away. And I was thinking about, as I was with some of those from the funeral on yesterday, the importance of understanding that we have attained so much, but as many may know across the country, somehow by some type of osmosis, ain't nobody been able to figure it out yet, how an 80% city with 80% African Americans have 2 congressional seats that span across the city of Detroit, while at the same time one belongs to an Indian man who moved into the city of Detroit, literally moved into the city of Detroit just to run for Congress, and then of course a young lady who's an activist, a fighter for justice and peace and power and prosperity for her community and people from Palestinian descent, Rashida Tlaib, how they became Congress, the representatives over a city that's 80% African American. I reflected on that, and I thought we had gained so much, and at the same time we're losing so much, and it becomes important for us, I think, to really get to the point where we realize that we cannot allow ourselves to lose what we've gained. You know, tomorrow you're going to be interviewing Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Speaker of the House or Minority Leader of the House, member of National Action Network, African American man, to Congress in the New York area. And that's a blessing. That's a benefit. That's great. We're happy to see him and his leadership. But we, at the same time, we can't keep losing all over the country what we've gained. It requires us to fight, requires us to organize, and it requires to not get too comfortable. Well, many of us got comfortable after Barack Obama. Many of us got comfortable after we made gains around many of the civil rights issues, and now we're facing Donald Trump, and now we're losing seats and we're losing fighters like we've seen in Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick. So as I exhale and remind folks to get involved. We can't lose no more, y'all. We must continue this fight and up the ante for those who had gone before us to have watched so much that we have gained to slip through our fingers. Now is certainly a mismanagement on our behalf. So get involved. Join us. NationalActionNetwork.net is where you can go to join the organization and get involved in any organization, any block club, but more importantly, get involved.
All right, let's go back to the phones. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Patricia in Georgia, WAOK. Patricia.
Yes. Hi, Reverend L.
Hi.
Yes, I just had a question. I haven't seen this mentioned anymore in the news. But Vice President Vance was on national TV on a news show on last Sunday. And he was said, of course, Letitia James is guilty. And I believe he said someone else, I'm thinking it might be Comey. He said, of course he's guilty. And wouldn't it be a mistrial for a vice president to come on national TV and to say that someone is guilty?
He said, who is guilty now? I'm trying to follow you.
He said Letitia James is guilty. He said, of course she's guilty. And he also mentioned someone else, I think is James Comey, but I know he mentioned Letitia James. He was speaking to the interviewer, and he said, of course she's guilty.
Yeah, I think that he would probably say he has the right to his opinion and that he was not saying that as vice president. But I understand your point. You would think holding such an office, he would, by inference, he should not be able to say that because it gives an inference that this is a government finding, and it is not. She has to face a jury, and a jury decides her guilt or innocence if they don't throw the case out. A lot of legal experts say the case is so thin on some application on a mortgage that they don't even think it'll go to trial. There's no guilty verdict. So I hear you. I thank you for your call. Let me, Mayor Rodney Jones is on the message board saying Mayor Adams endorsed former Governor Cuomo for mayor of New York. Mayor Adams called Cuomo everything but a child of God just a couple of weeks ago. The height of hypocrisy. I think he called Cuomo a snake and a liar about 2 weeks ago, and he endorsed him for mayor yesterday. And today, Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Ma'am Danny. He'll be on Politics Nation explaining why, among other things. Let's go to Ron in Detroit, right there where Reverend Williams is. Ron, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and we.
It's Rod.
Rod, you got Ron. All right, Rod, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, Rev?
I'm doing fine.
All right, how you doing there, other Rev? How you doing? What's good with you, brother? Is he on the line?
Go ahead to your point, Rod. We got a lot of callers.
Okay, so let's see here. we put the capital D in Motown over here. You know what I'm saying? So we live from Detroit. Now, Rev, I wanted to talk about just a couple questions for you, then a comment about Sean P. Diddy Combs, because something really went down yesterday. I don't know if you heard about it. But now, to get to the two questions, one question would be, I know the election is coming up for the House and the Senate. Which one do you recommend, or which one do you think that we should win? Because we more than likely we won't get both. Which is the better one for us to get?
I think we should try to get both. I think that the numbers are there for us to get the House because you're only about, I think, 4 seats down with Trump's party. It's more in the Senate, and it's harder because you're dealing statewide, but it's not impossible. I think some of the things, when I look at 7 million people voted, marched last Saturday in all 50 states, I wouldn't say that it's impossible not to take 6 or 7 of those Senate seats and get what you need in the House.
So realistically, though, we're looking at Congress, because we usually win Congress, right? I think when we have a Republican president.
Yeah, that's the tradition. Yeah.
Okay, so now a comment before I get to Sean P. Diddy Combs would be, President, bro. My peoples, my fellas that's listening to me, everybody. President. Who's going to run for the presidency against the Republicans? And a lot of people saying, Kamala, I think she needs to run for a Congress or a Senate seat or something like that, if you ask me. But Cory Booker, I can't believe people are not mentioning the Cory Booker. That dude is rough, man. I like that guy. Who else do I like as far as, of course, Hakeem Jeffries. But again, it's going to have to be a white woman that's going to either be vice president or president. Now, those two guys can either run for president or vice president, but it will be a white woman. Mark my words, because that white woman has not been vice president yet.
I got to go to break, so you can't get to P. Diddy. And I like how you call me and interview yourself. You ask a question and answer it. You make it so easy for Reverend Williams and I. Let's take a break. Keep it real. That's what I do, Terod. Sharpton. Be right back.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Black. We don't want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started at Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, the ACP would put them together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in the South.
Please receive one of the greatest voices for the urban community. One, amen. Not them yet. This is one of the greatest voices, not many of the greatest voices. We're going to adjust the program quickly at this time. This man has spoken out. He stood on the front line. He has been a man for the people, of the people. Please receive Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you, Bishop. To the Franklin family and to all of us gathered, Aretha Franklin was not only an unparalleled artist, she was a civil rights activist and freedom fighter. It is easy to celebrate the gifts that God gives. It is more difficult when someone uses those gifts in ways that enhances humanity. Aretha Franklin was given special gifts, but she used it in a special way. And she would not want us to celebrate her without talking about she stood for something. She never shamed us. She never disgraced us. She never made us make excuses for her. She represented the best in our community, and she fought for our community until the end. I first met Miss Franklin when I was a teenager. I'd become youth director of New York Operation Breadbasket, and she would come to the strategy meetings with Reverend Jackson. And I would hear the stories of how when Dr. Martin Luther King could make payroll, Harry Belafonte and Aretha Franklin went on an 11-city tour to raise money for Martin Luther King. A lot of artists hang up Dr. King's photo, but Aretha went and raised money and gave it and worked free. Her daddy marched with Dr. King, and she never stopped supporting. As the years went by and I developed National Action Network, and she would call my radio show and have me come to her affairs. She called me one day. She said, "Reverend Al, I want to send you something." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "What's your home address?" And she sent it. About 3 days later, I got a check made out National Action Network signed by Aretha Franklin. I saw about a month later, I said, "You know, I was so blown away. I grew up looking up to you that I framed that check." She said, "Boy, don't you have a copy machine?" She said, "You don't know how I am with my bank accounts. You better cash that check." And but all of her life, she supported the causes. She was a feminist before feminism was popular. She was a civil rights activist when it wasn't popular. She gave us pride, and she gave us a regal bar to reach. And that's why we're all here. We don't all agree on everything, but we agree on Aretha. And she fought for everybody. I remember when we were used to picket, Charles Williams and all of us jumping on the record industry, she said, "Now y'all leave Clive Davis alone. He's one of the good ones." She loved Clive and said, "We got to remember what happened to the Irish and what happened to Jews and what happened to blacks." And that is why we remember her legacy, because she sang a song for all of us. She was the soundtrack of the civil rights movement. If you track where we are, you can follow where Aretha had us. That's why when I look at her and James Brown, whose daughter is here, and others who paid a price, that opened the door, but never forgot where they came from. She was rooted in the black church. She was bathed in the black church. And she took the black church downtown and made folks that didn't know what the Holy Ghost was shout in the middle of a concert. You never saw her perform without her doing gospel, because she never was one to forget where she came from. And that's why we give her this great homegoing. We thank her for what she did with Dr. King. We thank her for what she's done with Reverend Jackson. We thank her for what she's done with all of us. And that is why, you know, the other Sunday on my show, I misspelled respect. And a lot of y'all corrected me. Now I want y'all to help me correct President Trump to teach him what it means. And I say that because when word had went out that Miss Franklin passed, Trump said she used to work for me. No, she used to perform for you. She worked for us. Retha never took orders from nobody but God. So Retha, as you get your rest, my mother passed about 6 years ago. President Clinton, my mother and I had a deal. She said, I'll meet you on the other side. Keep it real. Heaven. I said, well, Mom, they tell me there's nobody there, just spirits. Keeping it real. How am I going to know you? How will I know you?
325-797. Reverend Charles Williams is our co-host. Let's go right back to the phones. Let's go to Will in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Will, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams.
Okay, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
I had two points I wanted to make real quick. I wish I could have got in earlier, so maybe I could have got other people to comment about it. But the first one is the Republicans always like to ask people. I think Reagan said, "Are you better off in the last 4 years than you are today?" So I think Democrats should start asking some of these people, "Are you better off than you were 8 months ago?" Because I told somebody, I said, "Man, you know, he only been there 8 months." They're like, 8 months? Yeah, it seems like 3 years, don't it? But they need to ask people, you know, with all the controversy going on, man, it seems like he's been in there forever. So you need to start asking some of the people that voted for him, some of the farmers, they're crying, all these people, man, and people that didn't vote for Kamala, you know, everybody's crying. They're getting ready to lose their health care and SNAP and all this stuff. Ask them, are you better off today than you were 8 months ago? You know, and see what what they got to tell you. Definitely not. You know what I mean? So I think they should start running that point. Are you better off today than you were just 8 months ago? And secondly, you know, everybody says there's no man above the law, and they say that all the time. Democrats, when they make their point, no one above the law. Well, the point is, he is above the law. He said he can do anything he wants to, and the Supreme Court and the judges have put him and made him above the law. He does anything he wants. You know what I mean? And no checking system on him, nothing. So he's above the law. They made him above the law. They let him get away with everything. There's no way to check anything he does. They say, well, you can impeach the president. We don't have the power to do that. And it seems to be a waste of time because of the judiciary. You know what I mean? So he's above the law. And they made him above the law. Like you said, I can do anything. I'm the president. And if Democrats
I think even more dangerous, and I really think you hit two great points, Will. I think more dangerous is that not only is he above the law, he says he is the law. He said when he was talking about earlier this week, Will and Reverend Williams, that he was going to sue the government $230 million for the cost of the investigations and all the stuff he went through. He said, now, I suppose that it'll be a little awkward or a little strange, I think he said, that I make the final decision and I have to sign off on it. He doesn't make that decision or sign off on it. It's supposed to be done by the Justice Department. But since he knows that he's only put his puppets there, he is the justice system. And that is scary in a so-called democratic society. You're absolutely on point, Will.
Yeah, and I'm saying if the Democrats ever get back in there, and, they want to, well, we can't do that because the law says this and all this stuff, hey, they should use the same argument. I'm president and I can do anything I want to do and make these changes that we need. That ballroom he built, I would change the name on it if I got back in there. He wants to make it Trump and the Senator Kennedy honors and all that. Change the name on it. Put them back, to your name because, and what can they say? Hey, I'm above the law. I'm the president. I can do anything I want. And that's the way they should attack the problem. That's my opinion.
All right. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Geralda in Brooklyn, New York. Geralda, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and William.
Hello? Yes, hello. Geralda here, keeping it real. I wanted to just say I agree with Andrew, the earlier caller, and this last caller here when it pertaining to government. I also want to comment on the mayoral race. It's crazy, what's going on with government and even our mayoral race. Our mayor, our present mayor, I feel that everyone who lives in New York City until now should still vote for him. He was pushed out on purpose in this race. He also is the nighttime clubbing mayor that they claimed wasn't doing anything, but yet he produced something he produced a lot for the residents of the New York City, and he produced it within 3 years. These people, these three candidates that are that's trying to be mayor.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to understand this thing. Who produced something in 3 years?
Our Mayor Adams produced a lot of things for New York City that should have been done 50 years ago.
All
okay?
right. Go ahead.
That's clear now? The three that are trying to be nominated as the next mayor, to me, are three jokes. I don't know how they were able to be there because they're not worth being mayor of New York City. We have the former governor.
Why is Mayor Adams endorsing Cuomo then? If Cuomo's a joke, then why is Eric endorsing him?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm saying to you, I have no idea. You'll have to ask him that.
Yeah, well, I've
not
endorsed anybody. I've not. No, well, you said they're a joke, and you talking about we all ought to support Eric, and I definitely stayed out of it as long as Eric was in it. But now Eric is telling us to support Andrew.
You have to ask him why he endorsed Andrew. I'm just saying that all the people that are loyal to him, that know what went on from the 60s on to now, his name is still on the ballot, and they have the option to continue to support his vote. That's what I'm saying. To me, this is my personal opinion. I don't know what's going on in politics and the background of politics because I'm not in it like that. But me personally, all three of the candidates are jokes, and they shouldn't even be part of any kind of a mayor of for the next mayor. Okay, Cuomo, when he was in office as governor, he did a great job. I'm not going to fault him for that, but he lost the primary. Why is he there? And how come he's calling himself a front runner in anything? And the mayor, the sitting mayor.
A great point. I think you raised a great point. He lost the primary, and I think that that is a problem. I think the other problem is that if Eric, who just 2 weeks ago called him a snake, is now supporting him, you're right. I need to ask him why he called him a snake, and now he tell us to vote for him. And I hear you saying people can vote for Eric, but we do know that to vote for Eric is to take a symbolic stand. It's not going to count because Eric is not in the race anymore. Eric has endorsed one of the opponents. But thank you for your call. Reverend Williams, y'all have a race for mayor in Detroit. It looks like that our lifelong friend is going to be mayor. Give us your synopsis of the race and how Mayor Sheffield looks like she's going to win there.
I think even the other camp is kind of waving the white flag, and to some degree, I mean, look, the only people who lose is the citizens in the city and black folks, to be quite honest with you. We can't spend too much time tearing folks down. We've got a whole lot of that going on right now as we enter into the last 30 days or so here, or a few weeks here. And that just doesn't win for us, because what they do is, and you've seen it happen with Adams, and you'll see it happen with black candidates. You've seen it happen with black candidates for a long time, is they take all the stuff you use to tear folk down, and when they cross the line, the media picks it up and other folks pick it up, and then next thing you know, it just becomes more fodder for the fire. So we really got we got two good people that's running. We got a front runner in Mary Sheffield, who was Horace Sheffield's daughter, and we expecting great things. Look.
After the break, 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton, Williams, keeping it real. Be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be
All over the world today, people are gathered in love vigils to celebrate the life of a man that taught the world how to love. People may be wondering why there's such an emotional outburst, but you would have to understand the journey of Michael to understand what he meant to all of us. For these that sit here as the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world turn him around from his dreams. I first met Michael around 1970, Black Expo, Chicago, Illinois, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stood by this family till now. And from that day as a cute kid to this moment, he never gave up dreaming. It was that dream that changed culture all over the world. When Michael started, it was a different world. But because Michael kept going, because he didn't accept limitations, because he refused to let people decide his boundaries. He opened up the whole world. In the music world, he put on one glove, pulled his pants up, and broke down the color curtain, where now our videos are shown and magazines put us on the cover. It was Michael Jackson that brought blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos together. It was Michael Jackson that made us sing "We Are the World" and feed the hungry long before Live Aid. Because Michael Jackson kept going, he created a comfort level where people that felt they were separate became interconnected with his music. And it was that comfort level that kids from Japan and Ghana and France and Iowa and Pennsylvania got comfortable enough with each other to later it wasn't strange to us to watch Oprah on television. It wasn't strange to watch Tiger Woods golf. Those young kids grew up from being teenage, comfortable fans of Michael to being 40 years old and being comfortable to vote for a person of color to be the president of the United States of America. Michael did that. Michael made us love each other. Michael taught us to stand with each other. There are those that like to dig around mess, but millions around the world, we're going to uphold his message. It's not about mess, it's about his love message. As you climb up steep mountains, sometimes you scar your knee. Sometimes you break your skin, but don't focus on the scars. Focus on the journey. Michael Beater, Michael rose to the top. He outsang his cynics. He outdanced his doubters. He outperformed the pessimists. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up. Every time you counted him out, he came back in. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. I want to say to Mrs. Jackson and Joe Jackson, his sisters and brothers, we thank you for giving us someone that taught us love, someone that taught us hope. We want to thank you because we know it was your dream too. And we know that your heart is broken. I know you have some comfort from the letter from the President of the United States and Nelson Mandela, but this was your child. This was your brother. This was your cousin. Nothing will fill your heart's loss. But I hope the love that people are showing will make you know he didn't live in vain. And I want his 3 children to know, wasn't nothing strange about your daddy. It was strange what your daddy had to deal with. But he dealt with it. He dealt with it anyway. He dealt with it for us. So some came today, Mrs. Jackson, to say goodbye to Michael. I came to say thank you. Thank you because you never stopped. Thank you because you never gave up. Thank you because you never gave out. Thank you because you tore down our divisions. Thank you because you eradicated barriers. Thank you because you gave us hope. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael.
You're live. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. You're live, sir. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. You're live, sir.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. Reverend Charles Williams is our co-host. Let me remind you again, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow, 5 p.m., among my guests will be Hakeem Jeffries. He will be doing his first interview since now he's endorsed Zoran Mamdani to be the mayor of New York. He's going to explain to me why. And he's going to give us an update on the negotiations on ending the shutdown that is really, really in dangerous territory now. We're talking about millions that will lose SNAP benefits in a few days. We're talking about people that will have a heightened premium if they do not maintain they not override the deadline of November 1st. Talk to Hakeem Jeffries, who's the key person in the Congress on this, head of the Democratic caucus. I'm also going to talk to Congressman Steve Horsford of Nevada. And I'm going to talk to Congresswoman McIver, who was arraigned this week, first hearing on her being indicted by the Trump administration's U.S. attorney for going to a deportation center and as a member of Congress, by right, can go to any federal facility, asked to see the detainees. She was arrested. And they start pushing her back and then said that she struck a federal officer. I'm going to have her on the show tomorrow. And then, of course, on Sunday, other members of Congress and a U.S. Senator. And we have, many of you have heard or seen already, The Perfect Neighbor, where this woman, white female, went out and reprimanded these kids, called them names for playing in the area, the development that they all lived in. Went back in, slammed her door after using racial terms. The mother came out, knocked on her door to ask her what she did that to her children for. It wasn't the first time. She shot through the door and killed the woman. And we'll have, they've done a movie on it. It's on Netflix called The Perfect Neighbor. And we'll have the mother, the grandmother of those kids on, who buried her daughter. I did the funeral, and we'll have her and Ben Crump on Sunday night, 5 o'clock, talk about how the kids are doing now and talk about the film. So both nights you need to watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 on MSNBC. And then tomorrow, Saturday Action Rally, is going to be hot and heavy in Harlem. You that are in the tri-state area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice, as I said, 145th and Lenox. You that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television, the only national gospel TV network owned by blacks. And, of course, you can watch it on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Reverend Williams, what's going on at Detroit National Action Network tomorrow?
From possibly benefits being cut, National Action Network Michigan, we're going to respond in our local community, trying to figure out how we can make sure that we're there to provide basic needs in a time when we fight back and stand up against this presidency. So join us so you can be a part of that. We want to have an effort throughout the state, of course, that we want to make sure if folks need food, folks need help, folks need support, how can we do that? Partner with some of our other organizations and churches that can be there. So join us tomorrow, 10 a.m., the historic King Solomon Baptist Church, 6100 14th Street, for the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally, Michigan.
Cleveland chapter of National Action Network, Dr. Marcia McCoy. All right. I think she hung up. Let's go to Fred real quick in Milwaukee then. Go ahead, Fred.
Hey, how are you doing? Just a couple of things. There's so many things to talk about. But one, I was wanted to know, I saw on another program or heard on another program regarding the black farmers where they were looking for aid and help as far as, some black farmers being, facing foreclosure with the thing with the soybeans and things of that nature. And just wondering if the head of their, I don't know if it's union association, has reached out to you where, they're looking for donations or something to help these black farmers. And then also on that.
No, he has not reached out to me. He was at our national convention in April, and I would have thought that he would have reached out to us by now. Maybe we need to reach out to him because I have heard of the dire circumstance they're under. And you're right. If the white farmers are complaining they got a cold, then the black farmers got to have pneumonia. So let me follow up on that. I'm glad you called, Fred. That is a pertinent issue. Thank you for your call. Do we have Dr. McCoy? Let's go to Dr. Marcia McCoy, irreplaceable, head of Cleveland chapter, National Action Network.
Our honorable, illustrious, esteemed, and distinguished founder, Reverend Al Sharpton and Reverend Charles Williams. I'm glad to announce that we participated in the No Kings Day rally. Per the lead of our national headquarters office, there were a plethora of individuals in attendance. If we can keep that fight on and maintain that same energy to the voting booth, we can get the numbers needed in the House and the Senate. I'm glad to report that we are organized here in Cleveland. Our message is us being about us, precinct by precinct. And in the voice of my dear national leader, our sister Dominique Sharpton, I'm just keeping it real. Come on, bitch. It's real time.
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Hold my mule, my brother.
I got you, Reverend.
Okay, on Saturday, October the 18th, 7 million people took to the streets to declare that the United States of America has no king. Most assuredly, another 7 million who were not able to join them physically, but who wholeheartedly agree that no kings for America. Question then, is it fair to conclude that in America there must never be a dictatorship or a kingship? Unfortunately, we now presently have living in the Oval Office a real live wannabe dictator whom the complicit Supreme Court has given power to govern like a king or a dictator. Consequently, by taking away the health care of 17 million people and refusing to negotiate, he has shut down the government and essentially said to the nation that it is my way or the highway. The economy be damned. Away with runaway inflation. And the people suffer for a lack of ability to care for their families. At the same time, while he cut taxes for the rich millionaires and billionaires, he is poised to give $20 billion to his fellow dictator in Argentina. Is it fair to conclude that this wannabe dictator is a bigoted, racist, Nazi white supremacist? The evidence suggests that he absolutely is. Young Republicans in New York City declaring black folks as watermelons and monkeys, Jews as un-American, none of which has drowned his duty as president to condemn the same. His answer is that is no good people on both sides, as in Charlotte, Charlotte, Virginia. No good folks on both sides. Paying white folks to come to America and shipping black and brown and marginalized folks to unknown countries. His hotels don't welcome people of color. And as Dr. Sharpton realized, the higher you go in his building, the whiter you get in his abodes. The Trump-Vance team
has chopped up more than 35,000 lives and fired more people from the government than you can imagine. Government workers who survived by service to the nation. Is it fair to conclude that this evil administration is intent on gutting civil rights and denying black folks equal opportunity at the table of justice? Absolutely and positively. Is it fair to conclude that as President Abraham Lincoln pronounced years ago, that this nation cannot survive half divided and half free? It seems that the only time we can get where this country will land. One thing for sure is that if we don't vote this racist, if we don't vote this bigoted, if we don't vote this white nationalist supremacist, if we don't vote this convicted felon out of office, this nation of we the people, of the people, and by the people, and for the people will not survive. Join the National Action Network, and let's continue to work. Ditto.
All right. All right. Thank you, Bishop Cavanagh. Thank you to our president there, Marcia McCoy. Let me thank Reverend Charles Williams, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, wrote in on the message board, wrote in and couldn't get in, or called in and couldn't get through. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, all weekend long, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you.